Finally, in the words of the great LeBron James.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Yeah, it is. So the Cowboys finally signed CeeDee Lamb. 4 years, $136 million, $38 million at signing bonus, which is a record for wide receivers. So here's the thing. First and foremost, CeeDee Lamb's awesome. That I think that mostly goes without saying. The fact, though, that it took the Cowboys this long, this is what I really want to focus in on, is Jerry Jones is not the bargaining negotiator that he is, or that he thinks he is. He's he prides himself on being this maverick, and he goes for it, and how he's pulling the strings behind the scenes. You don't know what Jerry Jones. No, we know exactly what Jerry Jones does. CeeDee Lamb, on average annual salary, is going to be the second highest paid receiver in the league to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is going to make about $35 million a year. CeeDee Lamb is going to make about $34 million a year, just on a basic average annual salary. And the Cowboys could have gotten him for about $30 million per season in March, when the bar was Tyreek Hill at about $30 million. When the bar is Justin Jefferson at $35 million, that's going to hurt your salary cap a little bit. Now, I want to say this for the record, and I'm going to get into this in just a second, because I actually did a segment on CeeDee Lamb and his value to the Cowboys offense that I'll sort of touch on a bit in this segment a couple weeks ago. And I'll get into those stats today. CeeDee Lamb's worth every penny. CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys, not only at his position, but as I'm about to talk about, relative to his value in the league, or rather his value to the Dallas Cowboys. They'd be idiots not to pay this guy. Second highest paid receiver in the league. Frankly, I think he is no lower than the third best receiver in the league. You can make a case he's number two. Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson feel like they're in a closer battle for number one. We'll see what CeeDee Lamb does this season, as well as those other two. But I've showed the stats at times on the show, but I could show you just the gap between CeeDee Lamb and other Cowboys receivers is gigantic, and I think can be summed up. All stats provided by our friends at StatMuse, all graphics provided by my man Alfred Parsard Jr. If we could put this graphic up right here. CeeDee Lamb has 7 more 100-yard games than the next closest player. That's second in the NFL in terms of discrepancy. This is all discrepancy based. 988 yards a season ago, more than the next closest player on the Cowboys. Biggest discrepancy in the league. 64 catches more than the next closest player on the Cowboys. That's first. And 79 targets more than the next closest player to the Dallas Cowboys. Ladies and gentlemen, those last 3 statistical categories represent the biggest discrepancy in the National Football League. So CeeDee Lamb's quite valuable. We could show you another stat. I put this one together. CeeDee Lamb versus every other Cowboys receiver combined in 2023. And CeeDee Lamb by himself against every other Cowboys receiver, 600 more yards, 41 more catches, 40 more targets, 1.1 more yards per catch, 12 more 20-plus yard catches, and the same number of total touchdowns. He had 14. Other Cowboys receivers also had 14 touchdown receptions. So again, the fact remains is that CeeDee Lamb, I think it is a legitimate conversation. If we're talking offensive players, take quarterbacks out of the fray because we know how valuable they are. That their salaries show you that. It's between two guys for the most valuable non-quarterback on offense in the National Football League. It's Christian McCaffrey and it's CeeDee Lamb. You can see, I won't get into the nitty-gritty details today, but we've seen Brock Purdy without Christian McCaffrey, or really 49ers quarterbacks prior to Christian McCaffrey in San Francisco. Good. Then Christian McCaffrey gets there and like, holy cow, Niners offense goes to a whole new level. Dak Prescott, throughout the course of his career, and this is the case with just about every quarterback not named Mahomes, who can work with basically anybody, and Tom Brady, but he's retired now, is the fact that Dak needs a number one receiver. Dak's numbers, his passer rating is in like the 80s, high 80s, low 90s when he does have a number one receiver. Like he's not, if he doesn't have an Amari Cooper or a CeeDee Lamb, he got Dez Bryant, but that was at the end of Dez's career. Dak's simply not as productive, which Joe Burrow wasn't as productive prior to getting Jamar Chase. So that's the story of the NFL. So what this guarantees, knock on wood for CeeDee Lamb, that the Cowboys offense will not be atrocious in 2024. If CeeDee Lamb's on the field, it kind of doesn't matter who else is out there in the scheme of just the Cowboys being a good offense to a very good offense. They've been number one the last few years with differing offensive coordinators, but the same quarterback, same number one receiver. The Cowboys offense has been quite successful. And beyond CD, they're not very good. Jalen Tolbert and an old Brandon Cooks. I like Jake Ferguson. Let's see what he does this year, but need to see a little bit more. The running game is nowhere to be found. It's Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and maybe a guy who's shorter than me, Deuce Vaughn. And for the record, I'm 5'7". So the Cowboys offense is not very good in terms of skill position players. But how does this go back to Jerry Jones, you ask? Because he did, to a more flagrant degree, the exact same thing with Dak Prescott in 2019. At that point, the market for paying for a starting quarterback in the NFL was about $30 million per season annually. Ironically, that was about the market for wide receivers 5 years later in 2024. Jerry could have gotten Dak for about $30 million a year in 2019. Ends up signing him to, on average annual salary, $40 million a year in 2021 and boxed himself in because he didn't get the deal done with Dak to where Dak absolutely positively took Jerry Jones to the cleaners a few seasons ago. And the fact that he got the bag, we're talking about the money guaranteed, $40 million per year average annual salary, $160 million in totality. But most importantly, Cowboys can't tag Dak Prescott. He has a no tag clause. He has a no trade clause. And if the Dallas Cowboys let Dak Prescott walk in free agency, they will have to pay $40 million in dead cap money. So they botched it. It's what they did with CeeDee Lamb too. Now, Dak, I think, is leaving. I am praying to high heavens, and frankly, I feel quite good about it, is the fact that CeeDee Lamb getting signed at the 11th hour prior to the season. Trey Lance, who I was, Trey Lance, he could be Dak's heir apparent. No, he's still the same guy who couldn't work in Kyle Shanahan's system when literally everybody does, and couldn't even beat Sam Darnold out to be Brock Purdy's backup. Same guy. If you can't work with Kyle Shanahan, and I think McCarthy's a solid coach, you certainly know Kyle Shanahan. If you can't work with Shanahan, you can't work with McCarthy. Simple as that. I don't think if you can't work with Shanahan, other than like an Andy Reid, Sean McVay, I'm not really sure you can work with anybody as a quarterback in the National Football League. And we saw Trey Lance yesterday, despite posting 400 yards of total offense through, in the words, again, of LeBron James, not one, not two, not three, not four, 5 interceptions. And almost all of them were horrendous throws. That just made Dak's price go higher. The Cowboys waiting as long as they did to pay CeeDee Lamb just drove Dak's price up. Maybe it even drove Micah Parsons' contract up when that comes down the pipe a year from now. And who knows the drama we'll see at that point. But it's also this. Jerry was talking to Clarence Hill. By the way, Clarence Hill, one of the best journalists in Dallas, does a fantastic job. He was asked by Clarence Hill, about being the GM of the Cowboys. And maybe Jerry could be the owner, but sign a general, bring a general manager in the organization, like every other franchise does. And this is what Jerry Jones said. And I quote, "Hell no. There's nobody that could bleep and come in here and be a better GM. The reason I don't let somebody else be the GM is because I don't have anybody that I will let do it to actually do it right. And finally, I've done it all. So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that blank, if anybody can figure out how to get this blank done, I figure out how to get it done." End quote. Well, at least Jerry Jones is honest at this point, is the fact that with that dude, I may sound, and I and a lot of other folks may sound like a broken record, or broken records plural, when we talk about this guy's utter incompetence when it comes to putting a football team together, when it comes to negotiating contract with the only players that are keeping his team relevant. It is truly remarkable what how poorly he sees the landscape of the league. Is that quarterback contracts coming down the pipe? Trevor Lawrence got paid, and a season ago, a year ago, Jalen Hurts got paid. Justin Herbert got paid. This year, Jared Goff got the bag, and Jordan Love got the bag, and Tua Tagovailoa got the bag. Trevor Lawrence, everybody got paid, except Dak, who's accomplished more than some of those other guys who got the bag. I don't know. It feels like if Jerry Jones saw that Trey Lance performance, wasn't great. If you've seen the Cowboys offense without Dak in the past, that ain't so great either. It kind of struggles. So, I don't know. Kudos CeeDee Lamb. Deserves every penny, by the way. Every penny. He's again, as I talked about, arguably him and McCaffrey, the most valuable non-quarterbacks in the league on offense in football. He is special. And he gets better every year. His numbers show you that. But the Cowboys could have saved themselves money. Yeah, the Cowboys, by the way, who up until the CeeDee Lamb contract were dead last in the NFL in terms of cash spent, a fact that I feel like only myself and L. Duncan have brought up on multiple occasions. Listen, Dallas will be really good this year. The signing CeeDee Lamb ensures that. They end the holdout. CeeDee's going to be there. Dallas going to be really good this year. Super Bowl contender, heck no. But good, viable playoff team, yeah, that feels like the path that they're on right now. But I think the idea that this was somehow, well done by Jerry Jones is utter ludicrous. They could have gotten him for far less than this, saved themselves more on the cap. And by the way, the cap struggles that they're allegedly dealing with, they could have signed Dak to an extension, spread out the money, but then again, that's smart football business, and that is not exactly what the Cowboys are in the business of doing. And as you heard from that quote by Jerry Jones, it's not slowing down anytime soon. So CeeDee Lamb's worth every penny, but it should have never came to this. I should not be sitting here. I should have been talking about a CeeDee Lamb extension on March 26th, not August 26th. And that, my friends, is where the Cowboys continuously get this wrong. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.